Let us understand mental health and explore how we can take care of our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Welcome to your weekly slice of mental health tips and tidbits with Pat and B, here on Mind Ed.
Sa'yo sumisilong kapag ang puso ko'y pagod.
Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM. This is your stop for all things pop. Catch our all-around pop culture geek, Cholo Sediaren, as he throws in some dose of what's poppin' and what's hot in the pop culture scene here on Popcorn. Munch in with us every Thursdays from 4 to 6, only here on Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Nasistress ka na ba? Nagpapanik o natatakot dahil sa COVID-19? Normal lang ang ganitong mga reaksyon sa ngayon. Pero may magagawa ka para mapagtagumpayan ang sitwasyon na ito. Ituloy lang ang pangangamusta sa mga kamag-anak at kaibigan gamit ang text, tawag o video. Tiyakin na ang mga bata ay ligtas at nasa maayos na kalagayan. Gawin sa bahay ang mga nakasanayan upang hindi mabagot o mabalisa sa panahong ito. Sa wastong pag-iingat, ang virus hindi kakalat. COVID-19, kayang-kaya nating tapusin.
Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle. Are you feeling sore? We can make that better. Tune in to the Ateneo Senior High School's first radio program, Soar, the Seniors On Air Radio, where you can listen to music you want, straight from our playlists. Don't change that channel yet, because SOAR is ready to put the you in youth. SOAR, Seniors on Air, here on Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM. Follow at Radyo Katipunan in our social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atenista sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo Katipunan, Radyo Katipunan, Radyo Katipunan, kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero Sugo, todo sa kayod, tulong at tulong. Lipad na Blue Eagle, galing hiding at gigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo Katipunan, Radyo Katipunan,
The Jesuit Hour.
Wait, what? No! Let's try that again. Join the fun bunch of the Hugot Hour with Father JBoy as we talk about anything and everything under the sun. Share your everyday Hugot moments and everyday Hugot quotes. G, tara na! Usap tayo. Bring your own baon, bring your own Hugot. The Hugot Hour with Father JBoy and friends is now in session.
Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Welcome po sa The Hugot Hour. Maraming mga kabataan ang nagsisimula sa anumang eskwelahan. Kasi alam mo naman, pumasok na po, di ba? Nag-opening of classes na po tayo. At saka, maraming nagtatanong kung paano ba sila magsusurvive o masigit pa, paano ba sila magkakaroon ng kasiyahan o kaya maging makahulugan ang kanilang buhay eskwela. Lalo-lalo na yung mga bagong yugto, yung mga papasok ng college o papasok ng high school o grade school man lang. There is always a beginning. And how to survive and how to find meaning in what you're doing, I think it's very important in the life of students. At syempre, ang lagi nating naririnig ay mga payo ng ating mga teachers, di ba? O kaya ng mga magulang. Puro sila adults. Sabi ko, baka pwedeng pakinggan naman natin ang payo ng mga naging estudyante, lalo-lalo naging estudyante sa Ateneo, hindi ba? Kasi iba talaga yung karanasan nila, lalo-lalo na yung karanasan ng Gen Y at saka Gen Z. Syempre ako ay Gen X. Medyo malayo na po ako, pero yung mundo nila ay ibang-iba. Kaya sila ang may kayamanan sa karanasan. Ang mga guests ko po ngayong araw na to, ating mga panauhin, ay mga malapit sa aking puso. Nax. Kasi naging estudyante ko sila at kasama sa World Youth Day. Sila po ang batch 1 ng Magis Philippines at pumunta kami sabay-sabay sa Poland. Marami silang maituturo sa atin. Marami tayong hugot na mapupulot galing sa kanila. Baka makatulong sa ating buhay. So ayun na, exciting. Kaya wag na nating patagalin ito. Ito po si Father JBoy Gonzales. The Hugot Hour is now in session. Yay! Nandito na ating mga guests. Kaya gusto ko sanang ako pakilala para mas maganda kung marinig natin ang kanilang mga boses kasi maganda pa ang mga boses nila. Kaya sige, simulan na natin. Uunahin ko po si Lorenzo. At si Lorenzo ay tuturo niya kung sino ang susunod na magpapakilala para para hindi puro boses ko ang narinig, di ba? O Lord, game!
First blood talaga, Father. So, hi everyone. I'm Lorenzo Enriquez, but you can call me Lor. So, I was a student in Ateneo from prep all the way up to the end of my high school days. So, that's 12 years as a Blue Eagle, but my heart will always bleed blue. For college, I went to UP Diliman to take up business administration and accountancy. And I recently graduated, but we can talk about that later. So I am very close with Father J-Boy. We met during my high school days. And as he said, I was one of his guests to Poland and to other areas in the Philippines as well. So yes, that's me. You'll be hearing more from me in a bit. So next up, I want to hear from Mr. Toni Juan.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Toni Juan. I'm actually batchmates with Lor. I was in the Ateneo from prep all the way till high school, and similar to Lor's journey, we both ended up in UP taking up the same course, business administration and accountancy, and we actually both graduated recently from the same course. So we'll be talking about our experiences later on and everything that we've gone through so far to shape how our lives are today. So next, Marro.
Thanks, Toni. Hi, everyone. My name is Maro Mendoza. You can call me Marro. I'm a batch older than Lor and Toni. I went down the hill last 2019. I graduated with a degree in management engineering. And fun fact, I also spent most of my life in Ateneo. Back in prep, I used to say that I live 20 minutes away from Ateneo. And by the time I left Ateneo, I would say I was 70 minutes away. So, yeah. And we never moved houses. Erika, you're next.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Erika Chan, and you can call me Erika. So, Unlike these boys, I did not study high school in Ateneo. I studied in Ica, but I studied college in Ateneo de Manila University, which is my dream school ever since I was in high school. I met Father JBoy actually not as early as these boys. I didn't have that high school memories with him, but I can say that Father JBoy and I are pretty close because yun nga, we went to Poland together, and that's where I really got to know him and got to know all these people here actually. And so I'm so excited to be a part of this show or this radio station. So I'm so excited to get to talk to these people and share our experiences and our Hugot moments and our advice that may or may not help you, but hopefully it does. So Kuya Sai, you're next.
Si Kuya Sai na.
Hello, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Cyrus Lim. You can call me Kuya Sai in the senior high school, the Ateneo de Manila Senior High School. So I've been in Ateneo for 16 years. So imagine, dami kong nadaanan in Ateneo. So I work in the registrar's office, campus ministry, up for, and now currently at the office of the principal.
Sir Sai, sino ang paborito mong bisita sa App 4?
Ayan,
Killer Row. Okay, later we can talk about that. Later. So, I'm there in the Ateneo Senior High School where I serve with teachers to form persons for others. And the next will be Martin.
Hindi, kailan ko ganito. Alam niyo bakit? Parang nahiya tuloy ako si Kuya Sai pa ang nagsabi ng I'm here in Ateneo to form persons for others. Parang nahiya ako. Wala yata akong binanggit ng gano'n. Napaka-holy talaga. Napaka-holy ni Kuya Sai. Sobra. Ito na, si Martin. Ano Kuya Sai?
Yun lang yung pwede natin gawin sa Ateneo sa ating mga estudyante, Father.
Nice talaga.
Siyempre, man for others always. In
always. Marts daw, ikaw na.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Martin Gana. You can call me Sir Marts, and I've actually been in the Ateneo for 19 years because I've actually been here since I was in grade school. I graduated all the way to high school. I took up AB Management Economics in college, and I graduated in 2010. But I came back to Ateneo to teach, and I've been teaching here since 2013. In fact, Marro was one of my first students in Ateneo High School, where I'm currently teaching business. And I'm looking forward to sharing my experiences and being part of this journey with all of you here tonight.
Wow! Palakpakan para sa lahat. Simulan na natin ang ating The Hugot Hour with many of our stories. We'll begin with our beginnings. Di ba yung, may mga alala ba kayo ng pagpasok ninyo sa school? Pwede, hindi kailangan grade school o kaya pagpasok nyo ng high school o pagpasok nyo sa college na kumbaga memorable sa inyong lahat. Kasi syempre, alam mo naman, nung una ko pumasok sa Ateneo, parang kinakabahan ako kasi ako, Inglesero yung mga tao, kailangan ko umingles. Ganyan. Pagka mamaya, back out of this. Di ba? Ano maalala nyo? Sige nga.
Actually, Father, meron akong memory from Father, from prep, all the way from prep. I remember this very distinctly because it was one of the it's just one of the few memories I have coming into Ateneo. So, just to give a bit of context, I was born and I grew up a bit in Cagayan de Oro. So my the language I grew up with was English and Bisaya. So I came here to and I took my kindergarten in Miriam. Gusto ko yung my sound effects talaga. I love it. But yeah, so entering prep, I only knew how to speak English and Bisaya. And there was one day, I came crying home to my mom. I was so sad. I said, Mom, parang no one wants to be friends with me. And then she asked, well, why naman? And then I said, kasi I told them, pwede amiga ta? And then they didn't know what I was talking about. But then, because in Bisaya that means rather, can we be friends? And
Yeah.
they didn't understand what I was saying, so I thought it was them rejecting me, but we just didn't understand each other. Ayun.
Sige, let's test Tony 1. Tony, ano ibig sabihin ng Tiyada, Cagayan?
Cagayan is beautiful, father.
Yeah.
His roots
Hello,
are
Cagayan.
strong.
Correct, Tiyada, Cagayan. Yan. Ako, iba yung karanasan ko ng Cagayan de Oro ng Xavier. Ganun din. Pero baliktad. Kasi I grew up in Bicol and then I went to Cagayan de Oro. And then, sabi nila, sabi nila sa akin, Agoy! Kadaghan sa pita. Do you know that our pita in Bicol is bastos? So, they were looking down. It means mud in Cagayan de Oro. Pero ako, tumitingin ako sa ibang bagay. Wag yun ang tanongin. Kaya, nasaan? Kaya, di ba, napaka-embarrassing. That's what you get if you transfer islands, you know. O, yung makaranasan dyan. Meron bang iba? Kaya,
Well, for me, wait. Sorry, Kuya Sai, ikaw ba?
Yeah, you, Erika. You're the next.
Well,
Okay,
for me,
sige.
I want to talk about my Ateneo experience because I came from an all-girls school. So, parang lahat kami Chinese, lahat girls. So, I was always surrounded by, women. And parang when I first started with Ateneo, I was kind of culture shocked because I wasn't used to having boys as my classmates. And I wasn't used to that big campus like Ateneo. Like I remember nung first few days ko, I would call my blockmate every single day. Even if I parked in the same place, I parked in, what's that, yung Cov Courts, sa may taas ng Cov Courts. I used to park there every day. I would get lost to go to JSEC, to go to Burke, to go to SOM, CTC, as in every day. Siguro mga 2 weeks, nawawala ako lagi. Because I wasn't used to the big campus, and then I wasn't used to like sobrang daming people, and like I was always so overwhelmed kasi yun nga, di ako sanay na maraming boys and maraming like upperclassmen also. So it was such an overwhelming experience for me. But definitely, I can say na Ateneo has been one of the best experiences of my life. Like I've made some of my bestest friends and I've made some of my best memories. One of them being Poland talaga. So, as you can see, these here with me, talagang solid friendship and bond that we have.
Erika, may tanong ako.
Yes. What's your question?
Ilan ang nakita mong cute sa orientation? Sa ORSEM?
Marami. Actually, my blockmates are all pretty cute naman. Marami kasi from them, lista, like from HS. So, marami cute.
You did not follow them, that's why you got lost.
Yeah. No, kasi iba, like when you get to school, ibang time. Pero I would call my AHS friends, like yung mga blockmates ko na AHS, I'd call them kasi sila yung may alam eh. Like, turn right ka lang dyan or turn left ka lang dyan, malapit ka na. And then I'd see them waiting for me kasi I'm really a lost child lagi.
I can imagine. Di ba? You would rather ask direction, right, than really find out how to get there with the map or anything.
Sayang oras.
Pero I think, did you begin, forming friendship with your batchmate, with your blockmate when you came in?
For me, yes, talaga. My blockmates were my first friends, and up until now, they're my closest friends also. So I think it's important na, you have to really try to befriend your blockmates because they're the ones who's gonna be with you for a long time, and they're your parang first family in your college life talaga.
Yeah, and sometimes these blockmates, they are the ones who will accompany you even after you graduate, di ba?
Yes.
Because your memories come from simula pa lang ng klase hanggang sa pinakadulo. Sila yung lagi mong kasama. Siguro yun ang pinakaunang hugot natin. Befriend your blockmates. Nax, di ba?
Yes.
Papatunogin ko to. Hugot
Kulit.
number 1. Mga kapatid, for those who are listening, di ba? Befriend your blockmates. Okay? Ano ba to? Befriend your blockmates whether may cute o walang cute?
Yes.
She took
Baka
a
may kaibigan.
second. She took a second to think there.
Pero nga, biglang nag-dead air tayo. O baka yung kaibigan nila ang may cute, di ba? Malay mo. Di ba? O Kuya Sai pala, ito, alam mo mas maganda pag ang inkwento ni Kuya Sai ng pagpasok niya ng Ateneo. Si Kuya Sai po ay naging assistant ko sa formation office. Pero ang dami niyang kwento ng mga inalagaan niya. Pero mas maganda din kung paano siya nagsimula sa Ateneo. Kuya Sai naman, kwentuhan mo naman kami.
Okay. Father, I graduated education. Actually, ito talaga siguro yung meant for me to work in school. Pero when I graduated education, hindi po ako nag-try po ako magturo once at grade school but not in Ateneo. And then sabi ko, subukan ko ngang pumasok ng Ateneo pero not a teacher. I want to be an assistant with the Jesuits or to any in the formation. And then I tried applying in Ateneo. So kinakabahan ako nung una kasi sabi ko, oh my God, paano kaya ako nito makakapunta ng Ateneo? Mukha yata akong maliligaw. Kasi wala naman akong sasakyan and then I have to walk lang talaga from Katipunan going to Ateneo. And then, at first, nagdasal muna ako in our parish here in Barangka is the San Jose Manggagawa, which is a Jesuit parish na inaalagaan nung panahon. Yun. And then, they eventually turned over to the parish. And then, when I applied in Ateneo, sobrang, of course, may sinagutan ka. And then, eventually, inassign ako to high school. So, sabi ko, wala akong kakilala because I'm not graduated in Ateneo. So, sabi ko, paano kaya ako mabubuhay dito sa loob ng Ateneo? And then, eventually, nakikipagkwentuhan lang ako. First time kong ma-assign ako sa registrar's office, di ba kailangan ng mga estudyante ng application for their asset, for their UP, OPCAT, for their USD. Siguro doon ko naging kaibigan yung mga estudyante because pinasis ko yung kanilang mga application. That was 2004. And then eventually, dumating...
2004?
Yes.
Buhay na ba kayo noon?
Oo naman.
Father.
Ano ba kayo ng buhay? Anyway,
Nasa prep na ako noon.
Nasa prep ka na. So imagine, no?
Bata-bata yun.
Kuya pa kaya ako ng mga to? Anyway, so 2004, Father, I was assigned at the registrar's office at the high school. So talagang inayos ko yung kanilang application for, especially asset. Di ba? Ang dami-daming requirements na kailangan that you need to submit for the OPCAT. 2 forms. And then nakikipagkwentuhan yung mga bata, ganyan-ganyan. And then marami silang, siyempre may mga lacking requirements. So iniisa-isa ko, pumupunta ako ng classroom para lang hanapin yung mga estudyante na merong mga lack of requirements. So
guys, napaka-spoiled naman ninyo sobra. Di ba? Erika, di ba? Napaka-spoiled kaya itong mga to.
Kailangan na magandang pakikitungo sa mga estudyante rin, Father. So, kailangan maging example sa kanila, di ba? So, kikipag-usap ako, ganyan, lahat. And then eventually, Father, natapos ako sa register for a year. Dumating ito sila Father Kit Bautista at sa Father R.B. Hison. So, napunta na po ako ng campus ministry office, which is si Martin very active nung time niya na nasa high school si Martin. He graduated 2006 high school. Right, Martin?
Oo. Actually, na-meet ko si Kuya Sai nung third year high school ako. Kasi magkasama kami sa program ng Days with the Lord. Very active ako doon. In fact, that was one of the things that got me through high school, being part of a good group. So it's very important to find people that you really resonate with. And Kuya Sai and I became really close back then.
Hindi Nights with the Lord. Kala ko Midnight with the Lord.
You're funny, Father. You're funny.
Ang dami kayo Ang dami kaya nangyayari doon pag gabi na.
Maraming nangyayari
Hindi.
kasi serious na nagdarasal po yung mga estudyante. Meron po
Oo
silang, meron
Talaga?
silang, Martin, ang tawag doon, one-on-one, beer?
Yung jam, yung Jesus and Me sessions, tapos we also
Yes.
had yung mga reflection sessions, times na nasa prayer room lang kami, tapos may mga times na minsan pupunta kami sa'yo, Kuya Sai, para magkwento.
Yes, oo. So, yun. Kaya medyo, siguro yun yung naging dahilan kung bakit naging malapit ako sa mga estudyante. Kasi, siguro binuhos ko ang lahat. I mean, naandun ako even Sunday, naandun ako kapag mayroon kami activity. Because the days with the Lord before is the activities until Sunday. We ended with a mass. So, 6 o'clock until the 8 p.m. ng gabi. Kasi meron silang salubong with their parents.
Yes, Sir Marts, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you sad na wala ng days with the Lord ngayon for Ateneo High School? Because whenever I hear your stories, parang nalalaman ko na, si Sir Marts, he experienced days with the Lord, Kuya Sai experienced that. Then kami, or I think Lore and Tony, we never experienced that. And I think Erika experienced that. Pero wala kami doon. So, are you sad na wala na yun?
In a way, it's sad kasi the act of being together for 3 days was really something that allowed everyone to be part of a community. It's kasi parang yung days was a family na parang you got to know people and it became your support. A lot of people found a family with everyone there. In fact, yung mga ibang batches, they get together pa rin up to now. Kasi you really know each other through your batches. Like, yung batch ko was 204, tapos naging yung rectoring batch ko, yung batch that I headed was 221. So parang they become really good memories. Yung sad lang nga, it had to end the way it did.
Yeah. But there are elements of the days with the Lord which we adopted, right, in campus ministry.
Yes.
In the retreats at the high school, right? The palanca letters, even you spend time with the Lord, with everybody, and there's a big sharing, something like that. It's still, it continues to exist, but not really like the days with the Lord. No, but that's one of the memories many people have, right?
Yes, Father.
Yeah. Pero meron tayong nakuhang hugot kay Kuya Sai. Alam niyo bakit? Kakasabi lang niya kanina, sabi ko, nga Kuya Sai, no? The best way to take care of students is to be able to accompany them. Diba? It's really the presence of a person that forms other people. Right? Max! Kuya Sai, ang lalim mo. You're so deep, Kuya Sai.
So, Sir Sai, sino nga yung paborito mo? Let's get back to that.
Wala akong paborito. Lahat kung sino yung pupunta syempre sa aming workplace, ni Father JBoy. Eventually, naging Father Eddie and Father JBoy is my supervisor in the old Ateneo de Manila High School. So, and then eventually, Father JBoy created like mga activities, di ba, for the students. So we have the class night, formation night.
Yes, the class night, formation night.
Yeah.
I remember the formation night. We created it because, di ba, no, naalala niyo when you were wala pa yung senior high school, yung first year, you were sectioned according to your entrance test, something like that, no?
Ganun ba? Entrance test ba yun, sir?
Entrance test and whatnot, no? However, by the second year, you have to be blocked, because what we want is in a classroom, you will be more or less be mixed with the people who would complement your abilities. For example, learning styles. There are many students who are very visual. Okay? There are many students who are very kinesthetic. I'm one of them. Ang kinesthetic, yung we learn by doing something, di ba? Some people learn by just looking at the graphs or some process. Just by looking at them, they get to know they get to know the lesson. Some hindi Some are auditory, so they would listen. But imagine if a kinesthetic like me, magalaw, maingay, madaldal. If you put 15 kinesthetic students in a classroom, that's gonna be chaos. Okay, so the meaning of placement is that you are all spread out. Now, may visual, may kinesthetic, lahat yan. You are all spread out para balance yung tinatawag namin na learning environment. So, yun. Now, the thing with that, hindi mo nakasama yung friends mo. Kaya by second year, marami na nagko-complain about, hi, I'd like to be transferred to so-and-so because my friends are there. I think even Erika would understand that. Di ba, Erika, no? You always want to be with your friends, no, in high school. So we created the formation night. This is the time, like, instead of a class night, sa Ika may class night eh. Tama, di ba?
Yeah, we have class night.
O, di ba? Alam ko din pati Ika.
Well-versed.
So,
all schools.
Most of the schools have class nights, di ba? It is where you get to know your classmates better. So, yun yung ibig sabihin nung kaya actually doon kami nagsimula na dami na namin estudyante na kilala. Ba? So,
Father, very random side kwento. But I remember back in first year, since you were talking about placing us in different sections, diba? What I really liked was the guidance counselors actually asked us one-on-one, I guess the 5 people you would be most comfortable with in that section. And from what I noticed with me and the rest of my friends, parang they were able to accommodate that as best as they could. Like from my section, I remember I was with each of those 5 people that I put on my piece of paper, which made the transition from first year to second year really so much more easier. But what I also liked was it was a good start. But what I saw in that placement, as you were saying, was as time went on, the circle just kept growing bigger and bigger. Instead of just being with that 5 set of people, you'd branch out to all the other people in that class simply because you're all alike. And at the end of the day, you guys just become brothers. And I'm sure everyone in Ateneo High School can attest to that, especially those that went through the block sections na whoever you came in with in second year, by the end of fourth year, kapatid mo na yun.
Yeah, I remember that in the retreats. No? In the retreats, parang, noong una parang, asiwa pa ng konti. Second year, parang hindi pa masyadong close. Tapos by the third year, when we have that, with the cross and everything, that's part of the days with the Lord. With all the cross and then the deep sharing na inaabutan kayo ng gabi, etc., etc., etc. Bigla naging close na yung class. By the time na fourth year, ayaw na mag-separate. Dun sa retreat, ayaw na, parang they dread, leaving each other. And I think that's one of the things that we can learn from adjustments. No, when we talk about adjustments, we're talking about developing closer relationships. That way, adjustment becomes a little bit easier, right? I guess, Marro, parang gumagano'n ka, ganyan.
Yes,
May kwento ka.
I realized then as the years went on, the level of intensity with our programs got higher. For our retreat started, I think, third year and fourth year, whereas first year, second year, it was still what was the term that we use? Recollections. So by our first year, syempre konting sharing, you get to know first year, second year, you get to know your friends lang a bit better. Pero by third and fourth year, actually in my personal experience, fourth year, dun yung iyakan talaga. And then dun ko na lang malalaman na ex-friend pala has, or my classmate A, parang has family problems pala and he's been carrying that for quite some time already. Dun yung mga hugot talaga, dun lumalabas. And then we carry that all the way up until today. Like I know my classmates, I call them my brothers because I know them like brothers talaga.
Oh, yun na nga. Erika, di ba sa I used to say the mass for Ika. Do you know that?
Oh, really? Bakit I didn't get to your math?
I don't know. I see go to Ika for a mass or even a recollection. Sometimes the parents would get me. Kaya, baka kwento ka naman tungkol kasi alam kong you also have those experiences which these boys had when they were in high school, right? Yung iyakan pag graduate na kayo, I'm sure, di ba?
Actually, for us, kasi I'm not sure about other schools, pero from what I know, some schools, they shuffle every year, diba? Like, every year, they shuffle. So, new friends. I think it's also part of, like, the school system to, make everyone know each other, para makilala lahat ng mga people, like, in the batch. But for Ika, ever since we were in kinder hanggang high school, yung program is every 3 years ang shuffle. Because I think what they wanted to do was to really build relationships that would last. So, me, I have some friends na grade 2 ko sila naging classmate. Tapos after we separated in grade 6, we were never classmates again. But I'm still super, super close to them. So, I think those parang 3 years really helps you develop like deeper friendships and parang more meaningful relationships with your classmates. So for me naman, every 3 years, every time na we would split up, we would break up as a class, it would be iyakan. So yung sinasabi nila Lore, nila Marro, na parang nung 4th year, iyakan sila. Ako, naranasan namin yon every 3 years. Parang siguro 4 times na or 3 or 4 times na ako nagkaroon ng heartbreak in that sense na you're parang taken away from that family that you've built with your classmates of 3 years. So yun, parang I really love that aspect of my high school and my grade school life kasi talagang it made me build relationships that would last. Na hanggang ngayon, like, they're still my friends, they're really my good friends. I trust them with a lot of things in my life that I wouldn't normally just tell anyone. Parang even yung mga, like, what they said, like, in Ika kasi we had days with the Lord, and that's in our 3rd year. And I can really attest to what they say na it brings you closer. Kasi iba yung dynamic of spending 3 full days with like just a group of people, lalo na in a vulnerable state. Because for us in Ika, parang it was unknown Days with the Lord was an unknown experience. It was a very parang secretive experience na you don't know what you're gonna get. So, being vulnerable with those classmates and with those with the people facilitating it really helped bring us closer together. Lalo na like when we talk about, kasi parang when you're vulnerable, that's when you'll share more of what breaks you, what makes you happy, what hurts you, or what affects you the most. So parang that experience talaga changed. I think a lot of Icans would say that experience really changed our lives, like, forever until now. Parang it's called living the fourth. I think that's what you guys call it also, living the fourth. Yeah, so it's living the 4th day. So parang until now it's still something that that's super memorable for me, and I think without it I wouldn't be where I am today.
Maybe for those who are listening, the 4th day means after the retreat. Usually retreats are 3 days, and the 4th day is what you do after the retreat, as a product of what you have realized during the retreat. So I guess, di ba, lahat naman siguro nakikinig dito, nakadaan kayo na ng retreat. Pagkatapos ng retreat, that is crucial. What do you do after this great relationship with God and with your friends in your daily life? Di ba? Yun ang the 4th. There are 2, pwede ba ako? Dalawang ganun.
Isa pa.
Ang ganda ng usapan natin kasi there are 2 things that both Maro and Erika affirmed. Isang hugot natin dyan ay sometimes the closest people we have are not our blood relatives.
Yes.
Diba? So yung mga kaklase mo na, ang tagal-tagal mo nang kasama, they become family.
Yes.
So that's the first thing, no? That family does not only mean those who are our, relatives by blood, consanguinity, but also those people whom we have spent our lives with, diba? That's the. Pero meron pa isa pang hugot. Gusto ko yun. Diba? Ang daming matututunan ang lahat ng ating tagapakinig sa atin, no? Please join us, guys, if you want to share also your experience, and we'll read it here in our radio program. The other one is about vulnerability. I think in terms of mental health, you need people whom you can be vulnerable with. You know what I mean? You tipong, and then that cannot be anybody. You don't get vulnerable with a person you just met, diba? I think you get vulnerable to those people whom you've been spending your life, your family, your family in a greater sense. So yon, di ba? Ganda naman ng kwento. Baka meron pa maituturo sa atin si Toni. Toni, meron ka ba magkukwento tungkol sa paano ka nag-survive? I mean, how did you live more a better student life when all of the demands of studies they all come, and even the demands of relationships, etc. Nagkakasabay-sabay na.
Isa lang sagot dyan para kay Toni.
Sige nga.
Prayer.
Wow.
Hello, girlfriend.
Pero ayun, going back to Father JBoy's question, I think one of the things that has really helped me, especially after high school, was really the non-academic things that you're exposed to in high school. For me, what Ateneo really gave me was opportunities. So opportunities to be a student leader, or opportunities to have different experiences aside from just inside the classroom experiences. So parang moving on to college, it was also a type of habit or a lifestyle that I like to develop, na hindi lang puro academics, na meron din orgs, meron ding other extracurricular things that you do. So I think that's also how I was able to cope with ACADS, na hindi lang yung ACADS yung pinag-iisipan ko, but other things in life. And I think that type of mentality was really born from the opportunities that was provided to be in high school. So ayun, parang for me, it's Ateneo naman doesn't, or high school in general, they don't force you to do anything. It's really just they provide you the opportunities, and it's up to you to decide which ones you want to take. So ayun, that's I'm thankful for the opportunities, and I'm also thankful I had the courage to take on some of them.
Nako, Toni, actually you affirmed something na matagal na namin pinag-iisipan, because there's this monolithic way of regarding studies, di ba? Kung bumabagsak ka sa ACADS mo, dapat you have to put all your extracurricular activities aside to concentrate on the activity, di ba? Yun, on the academics, to me it's very, very narrow in terms of looking at learning or education, because we learn a lot of things even outside of the classroom. And I think that was my work. My work in formation means my work in non-academic formation. Everything in school is a classroom. The whole school is a classroom. Except that, you have the physical classroom where you and your classmates, your class, you learn your ACADS. But then you also learn outside of the classroom. Okay, so if you go and attend the mass, or you are part of a club, or there's a event where you are part of, or you're a student leader, etc., because you're also learning outside of the classroom. That's why non-academic formation is very important, because people learn that way. And thank you, Toni, for saying that. So mga magulang natin, for our parents, can I say that to our parents na, no? I guess. To our parents, please let your children or your students learn many things. Give them the space so that they will learn more things outside of the classroom, because I think that is the thing that lasts. I don't know, no, right? Mark, I mean, guys, yeah, you can affirm, confirm, or disagree with me, or game.
Confirm.
Why do you say so?
Well, speaking from experience, Father, parang especially now, parang the classroom is no longer limited to just the four corners of the room that you're learning in. Parang you learn something from everyone you come into contact with, and especially now, since wala namang classroom talaga nasa Zoom tayong lahat, nasa Google Meet. So parang we learn most from everyone, and parang that's really the challenge that online learning has brought. Kasi unlike before na parang we can meet up somewhere, we can go just expect to see each other in the classroom. Now we have to make the extra effort. Pero it also gives us the whole idea that learning can be done from everyone. Now we learn from our friends, we learn from our teachers, and also we learn from ourselves. Kaya I think the big thing is that learning is not just limited to a school. Kasi wherever we are, that's also where Ateneo is.
You learn from Google and Wikipedia. Or you learn from social media. Why not, no?
Pwede, Father.
Pwede, di ba?
I'm also a big... Yeah, sorry, Father.
Yeah,
sorry
Marro.
I'm also a big believer in in joining and doing extracurricular activities. Just like what Toni said, I think Ateneo did a very good job in giving us the opportunity to go wide and do a lot of things. I remember I had opportunities to join the student council, organizations that are more sports related, kahit prom committee, part din ako, opportunities to be part of varsity teams, mga business orgs. Parang when I'm enumerating it, parang I realize na, wow, I was able to do those things in 4 years? It's crazy how many avenues Ateneo provides us. And I realized na I learned a lot of things in those extracurricular activities. And those are actually the things that shaped my decision making even outside of Ateneo. So parang in college, parang the orgs I joined, and I joined the marketing related org. And then that's what I realized I wanted to do pala after college. So that's the kind of work that I applied for. So we had a lot of subjects, English, Math, AP, Phil, Science, CLE, ganyan. Pero it was the extracurricular activities that I would say had a really, really huge impact on what the rest of my life would be. So super believer in extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
Erika, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say na I really agree with Maro in that aspect of what he was saying na, like, I really believe that we learn not from, well, of course we learn how to, critical thinking from, A squared, B squared equals C squared, diba? Korean theorem.
Mali, parang mali.
Yeah, syempre maalala ko yun nung high school ako, everyday yun pinapalitan. But yeah, like, of course you learn a lot from like research papers, you learn from like learning like the presidents of the Philippines, you learn something from that. But for me talaga, what helped me in what I can say is like the heart of my life, like is really from experiences I've had beyond the classroom. So I can really say one of the experiences that helped me is the World Youth Day and JTA. So being able to live in a different country for kahit 2 weeks, 4 months, like I experienced both of that, but it really helped me become independent, to learn how to make my own choices, to take care of myself, maybe not financially at that point, but it helped me like realize na, this how pala you take care of yourself. Like you have to think about the groceries, you have to think about the house, you have to think about like, it's even like locking your house, diba? Like locking the door, your bags, like making sure na everything's locked. Parang those things kasi as a kid and like as a high school student, parang we're so, especially in Ateneo, parang we're so babied by our parents na these things are things that they do for us. So like when you go abroad, like everything's packed na, like it's not something that you have to worry about. But being in a different country without like your parents or your guardians, it really helped me parang learn how to live on my own, and it helped me parang see the world in a different perspective na was not just guided by, this is what my mom said, kailangan we'll go here kasi sabi ng mom ko here, or I'll eat this kasi sabi ng mom ko ito yung good for me. Parang it was more of being able to take accountability for the decisions I've made by myself in those few weeks or even few months. So talagang it really helped me become parang independent and take ownership of my actions and what I think would be best for me. Like now that I'm an adult, like now that I'm working na, it's things that I really apply in my workplace too.
Yeah.
I
think, sige, Lord, go.
Okay, Far, I just wanted to add, I wanted to talk more also about the whole opportunities outside of the classroom, learning outside of the classroom. So, like what Toni mentioned, Ateneo really gives so many opportunities to learn outside through the extracurricular activities. And as everyone here mentioned, they were able to find the orgs that they wanted to join. They were able to find their calling or what they wanted to do as a living, things like that. And in my case, naman, what I learned and what I wish or feel like that every student should learn also is to explore, to find out the things that you're not really interested in also. It's really a self-exploration phase. Like all these opportunities you get in grade school and high school and college, it might be a success, it might be a failure in a sense na it's not for you, but that's a success as an individual, knowing that you're one step closer getting to who you actually are meant to be. Like, sobrang cliche nun, but like my life story in Ateneo, grade 3, I was actually part of the junior fire marshals. Grade 4, I was part of the photography club, and I just have to give context. I have no idea how to take good photos. All of my friends can attest to that. Throughout grade school and high school, I was a basketball player. I wanted to make it big, but sadly, my height didn't catch up with my dreams. Like, all of these things brought me closer to who I am now and who I want to be in the future. So maybe some doors were closed, but more were open due to all of these opportunities that were laid out. And I guess for everyone, it's really just about taking that first step to that opportunity that's right in front of you.
Yeah. Well, papatuloy ko muna to. I think this is good, especially for those who are listening and you are administrators in school, to also focus on the non-academic formation. That if you think people learn only inside the four walls of the classroom, as Martin said, well, you are right, but not totally right. People do learn outside of the classroom, and that's our hugot also for this episode. That extracurricular activities are opportunities for learning, but it is not just opportunities for learning. It's also a time for many of our students to learn what we call life skills. Yung kinikwento ni Erika na yung close the door, ganyan, mag-grocery ka, those are all life skills. Tapos yung living within your means, kasi ito lang yung budget mo, alam mo yun? Ito yung, okay, yung credit card na dala-dala mo if you're in another country, hanggang dito na lang. Talagang you have to learn those things or else you will not, kung baga, survive. So when you do not survive, ano pa yung meaning? We find meaning only when we are already surviving, di ba? We are already living, in all sense of the word. And so yun, the life skills are learned outside of the classroom ideally, what you learn inside the classroom, as I would say, ano to? A squared plus B squared equals C squared, di ba? Tama ba yun? Maro,
Yeah.
tama ba?
Alam niya ni Toni, Father.
Hindi rin ako sure, Father. Gusto ko rin mag-shoutout kasi baka magalit sa akin si Sir Marts. Academics are important. CLE especially. Sir Marts was my CLE teacher. So, important din naman yun. I'm not gonna devalue though.
Yes. Yeah, don't worry. We'll go back to that. No? So the life skills are important. But maganda yung point ni Lor. Another one. Okay.
Success. I made it.
It's also in the extracurricular activities that you are able to explore even the things that you don't know whether you're good at them or not. And I think for the schools to provide the platform is important. bahala na, hindi mo na pa ipa-audition yung mga estudyante. Kasi ang importante sa kanila, maranasan nila yon, yung tipong to get that life is important for them because they will grow. Whether if they discover that they really do not have the talent for photography in a photography club, do you know that's already a learning experience? The realization that it's not really for you, it's already a learning experience. Diba? Okay ba, Lord? Ganyan?
Yes. Agree.
And also that your dream of playing basketball is maybe your height did not catch up on it. So, I can say the same thing, but not basketball though. For little people. So, I think those points are very important, especially if we are running a school. And I guess there are many people listening to this. You know why? Because Kuya Sai posted this, and all the colleagues in Ateneo High School, probably, many of them are listening to it. Tama ba, Kuya Sai?
Yes, Father. Pinost po namin to senior high school group FB page.
Oh, shout out tayo sa inyong mga teachers, both in high school or college. Hello, everyone. Oh, shout out naman kayo. Remember, any teacher that you're fond of, baka you can have this opportunity to shout out, Gabe. Ako, tahimik. Parang wala kayong Lord teacher.
Sir, Father, mauna na ako. I don't know if you're listening, Miss Celestino, Mrs. Crisostomo. I just want to give you a shout out to the teacher my first ever teacher in high school in SEP in math, when I realized I wasn't really good at math. She was actually the one that bridged me to an easier transition to high school. So it made she was able to make high school math a lot more, I guess, friendlier to look at. And she also became my moderator for third year. And we went through a lot of ups and downs then. And I hope that through all our experiences together, I was able to become a better man for others out of it. And I hope that she knows that I attribute a lot of my growth to her and to all of her teachings.
Matutuwa si Ines na.
Sana naman!
Erika, ikaw, kahit yung taga-ika, basta teacher that has influence in your life.
Well, for me, parang one teacher talaga that has stood out is Mrs. Nang. She was my kindergarten, she was my advisor in kindergarten. And parang it's not really the teaching, well, of course the teachings, but I wouldn't remember it so much na kasi I was
A squared ba? A squared B.
Hindi. ABC this time. Hindi A squared. Wala pa yung squared nun. Yeah. Grabe ka, Maro. Talino ko naman. Talino ko ng bata ko. No, but si Mrs. Nang kasi, what really made her memorable for me as a teacher is she really remembers her students. I was her student, 2004 or 5 ba? Like, I was like 5 years old, 6 years old that time, kindergarten. Until today, when I see her, her kid kasi, one of her daughters studies in April. So, and then her son naman studies in Xavier, batchmates with my brother. So I would see them always pag graduation or like pag may recollection, tapos like may parents and my family's there. She would always go to me and she would always say hi and remember my name, Erika Chan pa, like full name pa. And it made me realize, wow, these teachers, they know you. As in, imagine I was a kid pa, like I bet I don't look the same, diba? Like sobrang naman layo. I was like how old was I then? Like parang it's really more of that personal connection na she remembers, like wow, she remembers me. Like until today, wow, she remembers me. Kilala pala niya ako. Like it means na we as her students meant a lot to her. For her to remember even our names, our full names, not just my first name. So it's that what do you call that? That personal connection that she built with us na hindi ko lang kayo students for 1 year, not just for like that school. It goes beyond that. It goes beyond that 1 year that you spend together. It's more of like building that relationship even after di mo na siya teacher, di mo na siya advisor. So that's one person I'll shout out talaga, Mrs. Nang, if you're listening. If not, it's okay also.
You can tell her after, just in case.
Yeah.
No, but that's a very good point for many of our teachers. No, do you know that in terms of survival, for many students, a large part of it depends on the teacher, the teacher that makes the connection, the teachers who remembers you, and I guess no, Max Hugot. Pero kay Kuya Sai to, alam nyo ba si Kuya Sai remembers the name of students. Talaga ang memory ni Kuya Sai about the students. Alam pa niya kung anong pangalan ng ex-girlfriend. Hindi ko alam
Testing natin. Kuya Sai, testing natin. Sino kay Lord? Kay Toni.
Wala si Jiggy, father. Sabi ko wala si Jiggy. Si Jiggy yung favorite ko dapat eh. Anyway.
Si Jiggy,
grabe my favorite now.
No. Actually, yung kay Toni, father. Yung
wala na.
Kasi, grabe, that was 2 years ago. Birthday niya dapat sasabihin niya sa akin. Ini-invite niya ako prior to lockdown, father. Sabi niya, December 8 na, nagte-text pa rin si Toni na tuloy pa rin tayo, Kuya, sa hindi pa naman nag-announce yung government na lockdown. Itutuloy natin yung birthday party. Punta ka. Anyway, Toni, baka naman meron kang i-share with us.
Wala naman. Very good lockdown eh.
No, pero believe it or not, no, sa high school, Erika, sasabihin ko to sa'yo talaga, sobra. Sa atin na high school, minsan nagiging tulay ako ng love life. Ay, Kuya Sai, naalala mo to? Hindi ko sasabihin yung pangalan ha. Naalala mo to? One time, yung Miriam nasa football field natin, right? Kuya Sai, tama no?
Yes,
naalala mo?
Yes.
Tapos nasa labas lang yan ng window namin. Okay.
Yes, Father.
Guys, naalala nyo yan? Nasa labas lang yan ng window namin. Tapos, merong isang boy na tumitingin siya sa labas. Sabi ko, ano nakikita mo dyan sa labas? Father, yun yung crush ko. Ha? Talaga? Sabi ko, kilala mo ba? Walang opportunity makilala siya, Father eh. Talaga? Sabi ko, gusto mong tulungan kita? Paano? Paano? Sabi ko, kasama ko siya, tapos labas kami, ganyan. Sabi ko doon sa isang girl sa Miriam, sabi ko, anak, nagpaalam ba kayo na gumamit ng field na to? Sabi niya, ay, Father, hindi yata kami nagpaalam o baka may pinaalaman. Kanino kayo nagpaalam? Hindi dapat sa kanya. Magpaalam kayo dito sa amin. Si Kuya Sai, puntahan nyo, ganyan. O sabi ko, ikaw, samahan nyo to, samahan mo siya doon kay Kuya Sai, ha? Si Kuya Sai, papirma din, ganyan. Diyos ko, kaya nagkakilala sila. Yan. May mga kwento kami ng love life na kami may pakanan yan. Pero hindi ko alam kung natuloy sila. Natuloy ba? Natuloy ba, Kuya Sai?
Sino ba yan? Anyway.
Hindi ko naman. Pero alam ko, may mga tumatambay na girls sa atin, di ba? Which we also love. Kaya lang, no mention of names na kasi nasa public forum tayo. They have been part of us also. Kasi syempre, love life kayo pinag-uusapan, no? Di ba? Why not, di ba? Ikaw, Erika, tatambay ka ba sa amin kung kilala mo na kami?
Yes, of course. Why not? I learn a lot from you guys.
Kaya
not just about important things in life, pero even yung mga fun moments, 'di ba? I learned that from you guys.
Fun moments. I think we have to learn how to make fun of other people. and to be funny, right? I think humor is very important. Meron I'd like to pick up na tayo doon kay Mark, di ba? Yung sabi nga, Maro, sinabi mo ba yan dahil teacher mo si Martin?
Yes, Father. CLE teacher. Third year.
No, let's talk about CLE squarely. Is that okay? Let's talk about CLE squarely, no?
That's my favorite subject, Father.
Okay. Why is it your favorite subject? Pera bola. Pera bola.
I think it has the biggest impact on our life.
Nax, and why?
So, yeah.
Grabe naman.
I can learn about shapes, a squared plus b squared, whatever. I can share, I can learn about physics, whatever. Pero I think the biggest thing that Ateneo has taught me is, how to develop my relationship with God and with Jesus. And I think if that's the most important thing in your life, and the CLE is also the most helpful subject.
Yes.
Nax. Yes, Erika, can you expound on it?
Actually, when I was in high school, third year, this is actually one of my other really good teachers. Her name is Mrs. Guse. She came from Ateneo. She was an econ and then she studied in Ateneo.
Anong pangalan niya? Guse?
Oo. Husband niya si Alvin, I think.
Kinasal ko sila.
Oh yeah, si Miss Mary Elizabeth.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Oh
I saw
my
you post
gosh.
them. I think I saw you post them. She was one of my favorite teachers. She was my first year advisor and I think she really sobrang gulo ng class ko that time. Sobrang like we're so noisy, we're so rowdy, pero she stuck by us. And then she became my CLE teacher nung third year ako and grabe, I remember I would look forward. Ito talaga, I'm not joking. I would look forward to CLE that time talaga. Kasi parang how she taught us was more than just Bible verses and memorizing the names of the apostles and disciples and things like that. Like it went beyond that. Like I remember she would always what was good about that is when she would teach us about like a certain lesson or like a certain Bible verse, parang laging may application to real life. And that's when we realized na, grabe, like, CLE is more than just, it's of course your relationship with God and with Jesus, but it's also your relationship with the people in your reality, like who are living today, na parang your parents, your sisters, your brothers, your friends, parang it's more than just your relationship with God, it's also like the relationship with the people around you. And parang talagang CLE, it made me realize na it's really the values that stick to you. Parang it sticks to you eh. It's what you remember, it's what you hold through to your life after high school. Kasi diba, CLE is really more parang for me, those years, that's when those values and those morals really stick to you. Kasi that's when you're developing the most eh. So, yun, like Mrs. Gusa talaga. I love her so much.
Alam mo kung saan sila nakita?
Sa alam ko yung story nila. Org-mates ba sila?
Yes.
Yeah. And then, di ba, they even had a photo shoot sa may Jesu.
Yes.
Yes.
Nagpaalam pa siya. Paano pwede kang photo shoot
listening.
Oh my gosh, talaga small world.
Actually, Father, nung naging advisor ko siya, parang 2 months late siya. Like, she wasn't with us from the start. Like, June, di ba, yung start ng school. Parang pumasok siya August na or September kasi she just got married that time. So, parang, I think, may period where she didn't start teaching agad. So, baka yun.
Oh my gosh, ay, mabait nga sila. At saka, I think they have 1 kid now, no?
2.
2 na. 2
and si Ava, I think. Basta 1 boy, 1 girl. I remember parang she was pregnant when she was my advisor. She was pregnant.
I will tell her.
Ask her if she remembers me.
I will send her your photo. Kaya, di ba, no? Small world talaga.
Yeah.
It's nice to know, di ba? In terms of CLE, sige CLE, did some of you find CLE boring?
No,
Hala.
Father. I actually enjoyed it very much.
Nakakita talaga.
Yes, Father. Pero Father,
Hindi.
parang to add to that, sorry, if I may lang. Parang more than the CLE, what I really enjoyed also, or I appreciated, were some of the traditions that we used to do. Lalo na yung silence bell, tsaka yung end of the week examen. Parang until now, kasi parang pag nasa-stress ako or parang na-overwhelm ako, I make it a point na I try getting that moment of silence first, just to clear my thoughts. And when everything also is like, medyo overwhelming then, parang what I try to do is I list the things I'm thankful for, or things that happened during the day na had an impact on me, whether positive or negative. And then, yun nga, parang for me nakatulog din talaga.
Oo.
Super
Yeah,
agree, Tony. As in, super agree.
Yeah, yes, that's a very good tradition, yung silence bell. And at the same time, yung examen, the Jesuit schools, they run that all the time. In fact, even in senior high school, bago lang yung senior high school, di ba? At least here in Davao, yung 1 minute of silence in every subject, they go 1 minute of silence. Alam mo, feedback, it helps them. It helps the teacher prepare themselves for the class. It helps the students prepare for the next class. Okay, other than the spiritual part of it, why silence is important. And that's really a good point, no? That's that indeed, no, what CLE has been teaching us. I'd like to ask Martin, ito, kasi, Mart, okay lang to be vulnerable to everybody on radio. Do you know that there are many things in the mind of the CLE teachers, their fears, etc., about teaching, whether you will be interested in it or not, etc. Baka Martin can share to us or even describe to us his feelings as a CLE teacher and what are his struggles to make even the subject more interesting.
Well, for me, I mean, I think Maro can back this up. I didn't really think that CLE was something that should be feared. Although, of course, there's that whole structure that there are certain things you can and can't do when you talk about CLE. I mean, you can't play devil's advocate about certain things. And but for me, it was important to always make CLE accessible. So that's why I always tried in class to invite students to also share their experiences and to find the Christ in the experience. It's kind of like the Jesuit just value of finding God in all things. That was really something that really made CLE real in our discussions. In fact, a lot of our lessons were made. Well, it's because for just to be clear, Maro and I, when we were having class together, I was discussing Christian morality. So it's about very action-based, basically what you do, like what's good and what's bad. So rather than just being fire and brimstone, I think the fear of CLE teachers is really not being able to reach the hearts of students. And I think naman what we do, like how we've been able to adjust over the years was really just to make things a bit more personal, to allow students to share more and to really bear their souls into the experience that they were able to reflect on.
What was the most memorable spiritual activity that you have experienced in your life as a student, and how did it inform or even enhance or help you as you move on to another life of working?
I guess I can go, Father. So for third year, we actually, in our retreat, I remember this so vividly. We had quiet time as a class wherein we were all given blank masks. And then the instruction to us was basically to just, sorry if I'm spoiling, but whatever.
No, that's okay.
To lay out all the things that were troubling you. Put out everything that you were pushing out to the exterior or placing as a mask. As yun nga, when you're in real life, we all wear our own masks, we all have our own crosses to bear. So that exercise really made you think about what were those crosses actually and put them into that symbol as a mask. So when I was writing all the things that were troubling me, that's when I think that was the first time I ever got to have a deep dive with my feelings, actually know how I was feeling, what I was thinking about certain issues, where I was currently in my life, how I was perceiving everything around me. And then we had a very powerful moment wherein after you put all of your doubts, your insecurities in that one mask, you would share it to all of your classmates. And I remember I went first because I couldn't keep everything that I shared in. And it turned into a very emotional moment wherein I shared all of my parang deepest, darkest secrets with my brothers. And what I really enjoyed was at the end, everyone just made their love known to me. And I think through each of my classmates then, it felt like they were all as cliche as it sounds, they all felt like Jesus in a way. They all felt like God just hugging me in the right moment. Then I guess from then on, that's when I realized that being vulnerable isn't really a bad thing. We don't really have to hide behind a mask every day. All we have to do is, put your best foot forward, show who you really are to the real world, and just be vulnerable to the people around you. Let them help you as well. And from then on, I don't know, I was able to develop closer relationships with each and everyone in a deeper sense. And after that, I guess I wasn't able to, I guess I've been living genuinely myself since then.
Yeah. There's a beautiful insight from Lore, guys. No, that depth is a communal product. We gain a certain meaning in life and purpose, and we get to see the deepest recesses of our lives only when we are able to talk about it with other people whom we also love. We share our lives with them, and that's when you have this what we call a religious experience. And that to me is the point of spirituality itself, no? That religious experience. So yeah, I remember, alam nyo ba, yung activity na yan, inaabutan, walang palto sa all classes.
3 a.m.
3 a.m. Sabi ng mga campus ministers talaga, hindi sila nakakatulog kasi nga alas 3 na natatapos. Pero
Starts
it is
at 9
also
p.m. ends at 3 a.m.
Exactly, no?
Yes.
The religious experience with all of those, di ba sabi ko, nights with the Lord, di ba?
Night with Christ.
Night with Christ.
Yes, Father.
Are there other, experiences that made, your spiritual life very meaningful when you were in school, high school, college?
Yes, Father. Father, share ko lang po, Father, as an employee of the senior, old Ateneo High School, Father. We have daming activities, spiritual activities na binibigay natin to our students, to our colleagues, parents also, di ba, the push, ganyan. And one of the most memorable experience to me is the eco-spiritual activities natin, Father. So, ito yung activity na nagdadala tayo ng mga estudyante to different Ateneos in the province. So, kasama doon yung parents, our co-employees, and parents also. So, hindi lang po tayo yung natututo doon, kundi pati yung mga estudyante at mga magulang rin nakasama natin sa activity na ito.
Yes, travel helps spirituality. Nax! Kaya, ang offshoot dyan, ayan si Erika. Anak, no? Yung offshoot dyan is the World Youth Day because we have experienced bringing people to different places in the Philippines. So we've got this notion, why not outside of the Philippines, right? Baka Erika, you wanna tell us your experience?
So when we had this, I think everyone here knows this kwento already. Maro experienced it with me, and I think it's still my favorite spiritual experience ever. So there was this one day, so for World Youth Day kasi, we were the trekking group we were the ones na parang it was a pilgrimage. So every day we would walk, siguro I think around mga 20 kilometers, 25 kilometers.
23 kilometers.
Every single day with a really big backpack with all your clothes, water, shoes, towel, lahat talaga, everything you needed, even food. Tapos we would walk for so long, and then we would end up in like a different city or a different village in Poland, and then we would have like accommodations, like parang usually hostel siya, or like an old school, or like an old parang church, something like that. And then there was one time we always have masks kasi every day, like a short mask lang. And usually it's in when we get to that place, like when we get to that hostel or when we get to that church, we would have mass there. But this time, bigla na lang nagulat kami. Everyone was like, okay, let's have mass. And we were in the middle of nowhere, like the woods. I even have a picture na parang it was literally grass and trees. And then we were with the priest, and then he laid down, wala siyang stuff actually. Like he just laid down his bag, and then parang we used like a towel as like our parang altar. And then parang it was so nice because it made me realize na we don't have to be in a designated place to experience God. It reminded me na God is really everywhere. Like that moment talaga, it was so surreal for me. I think Maro, would you say also it was so. That was really memorable
if
for
not
us.
the biggest spiritual experience I ever had. But Erika, actually, on that day na we had mass dun sa Talahiban or yung grass area, that was the day na in-announce nung father or yung priest with us that we would not be... So, up until that point, I think that was already 3 days in on the pilgrimage. We were sleeping in hostels or parang mga army camps, ganyan. And then that day, siguro the 4th or 5th day, in-announce niya during the mass na we do not have accommodations tonight. You will be begging for a home. Tas kami lahat nagtitinginan, like, begging for a home. Like, ano to, staged? Is this part of the activity? Like, we're gonna knock on houses and like, one person will accept us, ganyan. Yung pala totoo talaga. We were in a small town called Doba. I remember the name pa.
Yes.
And it was just one street, and I would say no more than 20 houses. And then it smelled like horse poop. As if there was a nearby stable, and we knocked on every single house. And it sounds scripted, but I would like to believe it really was not.
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was scripted.
I don't think it was.
19 of the 20 houses turned us down. And on the last house, we knocked on the door, and an old lady answered the door, and we asked for lodging. We said, we are a group of 15 people? Around 15 people. And we need a place to stay for tonight. And then she said yes, and then we were kind of stunned. Nag-yes. And then but I can only accommodate 5 people. We had or 6 people, I think. We had 4 girls. Sila na muna nauna. Erika was one of them, and then the rest were guys. I was lucky enough to be part of the 2 boys na pinayagan to stay in her house, and then all the other people stayed in a nearby abandoned house. I slept in the room of her son, who went to work somewhere else in another city.
Yeah.
And I really cried that night kasi it was my first time sleeping in a comfortable bed.
Yes.
And fed us, gave us clothes, everything. And then talagang kung hindi ko pa makita si God in that moment, parang ewan ko na lang, Maro, like
And I really don't think it was scripted. As in, whenever I'd make kwento the story, because it's my favorite story to tell talaga, kasi talagang it really touched me super in a deep way. But whenever I would make a kwento, I'd be like, scripted yan, for sure, pilgrimage, diba? Like, pero hindi at that moment, you can see, even the facilitators, they were scared. Like, we were outside a convenience store, sitting down, and parang we were already thinking, okay, so if ever we'll do shifts na lang, parang these people are up at this time from like 9 to 3 a.m. Tapos after that, another shift naman para to watch over the people who are sleeping on like, you know, if ever walang tumanggap sa amin, like to sleep like outside lang, like sa may grass and like sa may, parang at that time parang may lake pa ata, there was a small lake at the end of the village. And you could really see the fear in the facilitators in their eyes kasi talagang they were so scared. Parang they were like shocked, what are we gonna do? Because I guess there was a hostel kasi sa front. Hindi siya hostel, parang 2 rooms lang siya na parang apartment or something, but it was for rent. Pero at that time, there were people there, so they couldn't accommodate us. And then that's when we saw na yung faces nila parang shocks. Where are we gonna stay tonight? And Maro was really, he's really totoo. He's really like not lying when he's saying na when if you don't see God in that situation, when like ewan ko na, when else would you see it? Kasi it was such a blessing in disguise. And actually not disguise, it was a blessing, period. Because this woman, parang she really accommodated us. She fed us. I remember pa, it was waffles, diba? Waffles, fresh jam, and cream. And that was like the first time that we were able to eat like really like okay food. Because every other time since we were traveling nga, like we would only eat like bread tapos tomato, diba? Bread, tomato, and water.
Cold cuts, puro cold cuts.
Yeah, that time it was like tea na super warm, and it was such a different experience talaga. And I think that affected everyone in that group in a different level.
Yeah, the experience of someone's generosity is always it's always a religious experience. Yung tipong ay nararamdaman mo, bakit ako na do I deserve such generosity? There's always something about that experiences that brings us closer to God, right? Gumagana si Martin. Si Martin kasama ko eh. So
Yes. Actually, nagkasalubong yung grupo namin with Marro and Erika when they were on their journey. And parang it was after that experience of theirs ata. And I remember kasi we were also the other pilgrimage group. And we also went through something similar na parang when we also had to beg for a house, we ended up in a morgue. And so we spent the night there. And medyo scary, but it helped us grow together. But the thing about that experience was really seeing the nature all around, diba? Walking in the wilderness, parang you get to appreciate God. And Father, do you remember the time we went to Cagayan de Oro with the Eco Spiritual?
yes, exactly.
Yes. And parang
We went river rafting with mayroon tayong deep diving, NAX, di ba? At saka ano pa yung pangatlo? We went yung tawag dyan? Ano tawag dyan? Yung nasa mountain.
Zipline.
Nag-zipline pa tayo, di ba?
Yes.
In Cagayan de Oro. Because those are all discovering the relationships between the river ecosystem, the sea, and then the mountain. If you get to see the relationships within these three, you begin to get a close experience of the creation of God. And that if we do something here, will always affect anyone, even halfway around the world, which we get to see with climate change. So parang ganon, that everything is related.
It was really great to see the connection also, having gone through that program na rin with that group, and then going towards the Magis program, going to Poland, or you can really see the connection. In fact, the thing that really got to me was generosity, especially through both sides, like being offered a place to stay kahit morgue, and then even in the Eco Spiritual Tour, kasi parang we were like dining with on the generosity of different families.
Yeah. Isa doon, family of Toni Juan, around the family father, di ba? They invited us to be in their place.
Correct.
One of the dinner natin. Ayan. Kaso wala si Toni father noon. Yung Rafi lang will kasama natin noon.
Oo, pero
Father, sorry, go.
No. Go, Erika.
I just wanted to share so everyone can see like a visual thing of what we experienced. Yung talagang, I'll show you a picture. I delete photos a lot. I always delete every month. Pero this one photo I can never delete talaga. And I'll show you guys. This is where we had mass. You can see yung altar namin, towel lang yan. And then yeah, you can even see there's a feature kasi in my phone na it shows you like the location, and it's in jescom.ph. So you don't even know where it is, diba?
Yeah.
Like, I can never delete this photo. It's always in my phone. Like how many rummages this survived na? Never. I'll never delete it. It's that memorable to me.
Yes. Guys, sobrang thank you. Now, we're 5 minutes na lang, no? Parang sarap pag-usapan ng ganito, no? Ang lalim ng usapan natin. Ito, no, there are many people who are listening to our program. And maybe the last question is this: what would you say to someone who is struggling online and listening to our stories? Can these stories still be an experience of someone who is online? And what would you tell them in terms of finding meaning, finding purpose, and even direction in their life in school? And you now, looking back, since you are already more or less out of school, you are already working. What would you tell them? Nax.
I can go, Father. I can share, Father. I can share some piece of advice that worked for me. So
Yeah, go.
anyway, to everyone that's listening, that's going through the online setup, as we all are, I guess the biggest advice I can give everyone is to really just take time for yourself, take time to step back, and to actually connect with people outside of your computer, outside of your screen, whether it just be for 30 minutes or an hour or so. In my context, before, when the world was a little more normal, I would never be home. I'd be home at around 8 p.m. every day simply because I'd have classes until 7. I'd always be out on a Saturday night, syempre, with my friends and all of that. But what I really got to appreciate, I guess, now is I have so much more time with my family, which I feel like I never really, I guess, paid too much attention to before, or I took for granted before. But now I really realize that spending 30 minutes or an hour with them in silence, eating or sharing a Netflix movie or whatever, really perks me up and gets me going again. So when things get stressful or overwhelming, always know that you have a support system that will always be there, whether it be your family or whether it be through friends on Discord. You can always just go to them and unwind, because at the end of the day, it's really about strengthening relationships with other people. That really gets, I don't know, that's how I get going, and I hope that that's how you guys can get going as well. And if not, just still take a step back and find what works for you, because you don't have to spend your whole life in Zoom.
Nax. Guys, cheers. Nakalimutan na natin na talagang this is like a party. Cheers for Lord. Thank you very much, Lord. Okay. Nax. Meron ba bang iba? Baka some of you can also share your thoughts.
I have father. For me naman, if there's anything I can advise is that always remember to journey through life at your own pace. I think especially right now in the online setting, it's more evident that you could feel more pressured to be productive. You always see people working on their own things or studying, or like it seems as if other people are progressing through life, but you shouldn't feel pressured to be at their pace or to be working at their pace. It's even more understandable now, and it should be even more emphasis should be put on you working at the pace you're comfortable with. And also in line with what Laura said, if you need to take a step back, you should feel comfortable in taking a step back, because I think that's the only way you can effectively and efficiently move forward, is when you take that step back.
Yay! 21, cheers! Cheers, Toni! Cheers! Thank you, Toni. The others.
Yeah, I'd like to add something. I mean, everything they said is true. Definitely take a step back. Give yourself some time. Apart from what Laura said, connect with people. I think it's important also to connect with yourself. Especially now, like everything's so digital, and it's so easy to be consumed in your laptop, your work, your studies. It's so hard to set boundaries na, kasi your work and your home is in one place, right? Yeah. So even me, I find myself struggling na sometimes I don't notice, shocks, it's 8 p.m. na I'm still working. I'm still doing my tasks for work. I guess what I really would advise, I would say is that, give yourself time to explore your hobbies. Like recently, this pandemic, I learned how to bake. And it's been my stress reliever. Every time that I feel overwhelmed, I look for some recipe I can like copy or like try out at home, and I do it. And it gives me that brain break, or that break from just a screen, because grabe, it really takes a toll on your mental health, and it just being stuck on a screen, not having these social connections, because we are social beings, and these things are important, like seeing your friends, seeing like your coworkers. Even like it's so hard to humanize someone through just a photo, or like even like just a video of them speaking. It's so hard to humanize someone and to establish that personal connection, because you're so confined within that within that screen. So it's also important to, I guess, apart from building relationships outside, it's also building a relationship with yourself, getting to know yourself. What do you like to do? What do you not like to do? And I feel that helped me throughout this whole pandemic. I learned a lot about what I like, and I learned a lot about myself and what things I feel are important to me. So yeah, give yourself the time to explore your interests and your hobbies.
Yes, cheers to Erika.
Agree.
Thank you, Erika,
Cheers.
for that insight. Next, you only have 3 before we end. So, anyone?
For a father, I just like to share na parang you should not say no to making a meaningful connection with someone, kahit someone that you're not really that close to. Any opportunity to connect is an opportunity also to get to know someone really meaningfully, especially since now we're just limited to our own locations. And who knows, you might discover a friendship or relationship that you might have not been able to explore if you did not take the opportunity to try. So especially now that we're locked behind closed doors, hopefully we can also try to find solace in the people that we choose to connect with as well.
Yay! Cheers, Martin. Thank you very much. Cheers to Martin Gana. Oh, ano na, Marro, Kuya Sai. Kuya Sai ang last now.
Okay. My advice is to reflect on the games that you are playing. You can look at life in the prism of the different games you're playing. Ask yourself, what games are you choosing to play, and who are you playing it with or against, or whatever your mentality is, and if you still ultimately want to play that particular game. Specifically in relation to your work, while you're still doing that job, are you doing it for the money, the prestige, or whatever? You'll find that a lot of it is not worth it. And I think these are what Ignatius called, Father Sir Martz, correct me if I'm wrong, disordered affections.
Knox. You're correct.
So once you realize, so after reflecting and you realize that it's a disordered affection, it pulls me away from God, then do your best to change the game you're playing and then find something that's worth it.
Knox. Cheers to Marro. Cheers, Marro. Nakakamit kayo lahat. And of course, the best, Kuya Sai.
Yeah, ako naman, Father, even pandemic. So, pinili ko po talaga mag-work sa eskwelahan daily. So, I'm working on-site daily in Ateneo. Kasi in my current post, I think, sa tingin ko kailangan ako doon na to be present in school so that I can respond to the needs of the school. So, pero syempre kailangan pa rin ng pag-iingat because of the pandemic. Kahit saan ka magpunta, talagang medyo delikado para sa lumalabas ng bahay. Pero parating hawak ko lang yung magdasal. Yun lang yung aking sandata upang makalabas ako ng aming bahay at makapunta ng eskwelahan para magtrabaho.
Ang ganda naman ng natin, physical presence and prayer as the last word for today. So cheers, Kuya Sai.
Cheers.
Maybe let's just one sweep. If there is any shout out that you want to do to anyone would like to say hi to before we end the program. Ryan Kadigoy is celebrating his birthday today, right, Kuya Sai?
Yes, Father.
I remember. So Ryan, happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Ryan.
Yeah, classmate of Toni, Father. And later tonight, Father, Gino.
Birthday ni Gino
tonight.
Happy
Si Gino
birthday.
Hi, birthday.
Happy birthday, Gino.
Birthday,
Kasama din namin
Gino.
si Gino. Ganyan. How about you guys?
Gino Ermita.
You want to say hi to anyone? Ako? Gana? Okay, Marro.
My mom and my dad. Hi, mom. Hi, dad. I made it.
And Kuya Luis.
Shout out
Sino
to
ba?
all the people that couldn't be here with us today, especially you, Mr. Jiggy Medina. We missed you today, but you are in our hearts and our thoughts.
Yes. He will have his own chance. Don't worry. Ganyan. So, ikaw.
Shout out to everyone who's watching. Thank you for being here with us and to listening to us and having a great time with us. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey.
Shout out to RD for asking for it. for asking for a shout out. Shout out RD.
RD.
Si
Erika.
Julio Father, nasa class daw siya ngayon. Nasa
Si
class.
Wax.
Si Wax. Mark.
Si Wax.
Aba,
You
shout
pray
out to
for
our
them.
future lawyer.
Martin, let's shout out to all the teachers who are watching.
Yes, shout out to all teachers in the senior high school. So senior high strong. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so the final word. Guys, once again, it has been very, very enjoyable to be, conversing with one another. And hopefully, marami kayong napulot na hugot ngayong gabi. Next week, we're going to talk about campus ministry work, spirituality in schools. So we will be having guests from campus ministries from Ateneo de Naga, of course, Ateneo de Manila, Ateneo de Davao, and other Jesuit schools. Come and join us next week. So once again, on behalf of the Magis Philippines, you'll hear more about these guys. Sobrang masarap silang kausap. Hindi ito yung pinakahuli ninyo maririnig mga to. At marami pa silang mga kasama. Probably, they'll be with us some other time. So again, thank you very much on behalf of Magis Philippines and all those who be part of the Hugot Hour. Have a very good night and have a great week. So cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
The Jesuit Hour.
Wait, what? No! Let's try that again. Join the fun bunch of the Hugot Hour with Father JBoy as we talk about anything and everything under the sun. Share your everyday Hugot moments and everyday Hugot quotes. G, tara na! Usap tayo. Bring your own baon. Bring your own Hugot. The Hugot Hour with Father JBoy and friends is now in session.